next is like a segment, panel discussion. So guys, you need to be ready for panel. Rohit Bansal, Rajesh Uppal, Mahavir Singhvi, Akshay Garkal, and we have, I just want to tell you that there are two moderators. So left and right extreme. Do I have a slide? Sonia, do I have a slide? Slide for moderation. Panelist. बहुत कुछ है. सोनिया. We are here to witness change, to celebrate the pioneers who are truly creating it, and to honor visionaries, CIOs, and digital leaders who are blazing the new trades, transforming businesses, and shaping India's position as a global tech powerhouse. As we talk and celebrate about our country's legacy, it is only right to begin today's proceedings with the beautiful Indian traditions of the auspicious lamplighting ceremony. To do the honors and to join us for this very special segment, may I please request all of you to put your hands together for our dignitaries as I request them to join us right next to the lamp for the auspicious lamplighting ceremony. Please put your hands together as I welcome Shri Rajiv Chandrasekharji, former Minister of State for Electronics and IT, Government of India. We are humbled to have you with us, sir. May I have all of you please put your hands together for Mr. Rajesh Uppalji, Executive Director, Maruti Suzuki. Let's hear a round of applause for Mr. Rohit Bansal, Co-founder, Snapdeal. Please put your hands together for Ms. Chantri Malya, Editor, ETCIO. Please do join us as we look forward to this amazing beginning right here. May I request all of you to please put your hands together for Srimati Renuka Ramnath, Founder, Managing Director and CEO, Multiples Alternate Asset Management. Please put your hands together as ma'am joins us for the auspicious lamplighting ceremony. And as we look forward to the beautiful start, I must share with all of you that when we look forward to a lit lamp, it is to derive the blessings of the Almighty and, of course, to seek the goodness and bring to you wonderful thoughts. Renuka ji, may I request you to please join us? A round of applause right here as we look forward to this beautiful, beautiful moment. Today, as we begin to congratulate the game changers, we'd also like to take a moment and thank all our wonderful jury members, our think tank, our thought leaders for giving us their valuable time and inputs. May we also take a moment and thank our knowledge partner, Grant Thornton, for their invaluable insights and support. And of course, a big thank you to our supporting partners, Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, NEGD, Digital India, and ERNET, whose continued collaboration and efforts made today such a spectacular way for us to begin. To make sure that all of you know how our journey began, let's take a few look at the glimpses from our first edition, what our debut was all about and how it created waves. Let's take a look at this audiovisual to know more.
Excellence, innovation, transformation. These are the hallmarks of enterprise technology that drive the future of business. And at the heart of this revolution stands the most prestigious recognition of them all. Last year, this stage bore witness to history. With an extraordinary jury, chaired by the legendary N.R. Narayanamurthy, and over 1,100 powerful nominations, the awards set a new benchmark in recognizing enterprise technology brilliance.
Kind of nominations we had again people who have been pioneers in the use of digitalization.
Overall, very impressed by all the candidates and all the projects.
The transformations that some of the applicants and the nominees have done in their businesses and their to themselves internally and to their customers is amazing.
Thank you to ET for an extraordinary jury as well as very high degree of participation of 1,100 companies.
It's a well-managed process. ET has been able to get very large number of companies to apply, and I think that is also telling you the stature of ET in the Indian industry. Of course, with Mr. Narayanamurthy at the helm, I think there can be no better person who can actually be judging you.
I thank ET for this opportunity.
Out of a sea of innovation, only 22 emerged victorious. Visionaries who redefined IT excellence, leading the digital transformation of India. And now we embark on an even greater journey. India is rising as a digital superpower, and the role of visionary CIOs has never been more critical. The second edition of the Economic Times CIO Awards will once again honor those who are shaping the future. Those who are turning ideas into innovation, technology into transformation, and enterprises into global digital powerhouses. The future belongs to the bold. The future belongs to the pioneers of digital excellence. And tonight, we celebrate them. Welcome to the Economic Times CIO Awards 2025 for Enterprise IT Excellence.
Let's hear a round of applause. We're so very proud of the way we made our innings last year. You saw yourself that we had some absolutely noted names, be it Sri Narayan Murthy ji, Mr. Arvind Gupta, Mr. Manoj Kohli, Mr. Ashish Kumar Chauhan, all visionaries amongst us in our first edition, and this edition too is very, 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 very special for so many reasons that you'll get to know. But to make sure that we set the tone for the evening and to welcome all of you with all our hearts, may I request all of you to please put your hands together as I request the kind presence of Ms. Shantri Malya, editor at ETCIO, to join us here and share a few words with this August gathering. Let's welcome her with a round of applause, please.
Thank you, Isha. A very good evening to all our audiences here and our distinguished guests as well. This is the second edition of the ETCIO Awards for Enterprise Excellence in IT. So, as we know, the last year, our maiden edition set a benchmark of sorts. You know, we really kind of set out to do this after having clocked 10 years of our existence as a brand, as a publication, as a media vertical of the Economic Times B2B verticals. So Economic Times CIO is part of what is known as the Economic Times business-to-business verticals. And we have now, in the 11th year of our existence, actually found ourselves to be among the topmost among the CIO publications of India. We have the length and breadth of readership by virtue of not just being part of the Times Group, but also by the fact that we have worked towards it. So this second edition is proof of the pudding that we got over 700 valid, time-tested applications that we kind of wetted and took to the next level, which also got contextualized further by an assessment jury of eminent CIOs who really came out there and further wetted it and put it in front of our eminent grand jury, who then sifted out the final list of winners. So it went through a long, long process. So here we are today amidst this audience here, ready to see who are the best of India's digital excellence, right? So let's put a huge round of applause to ourselves, because this is no mean feat. India, as is rightly believed, we are in front of a very august set of guests here, is on the cusp of a very, very important set of developments in digital. And the government now, as we can see in the last decade, has has kind of really not stopped at anything in taking the digital bar ahead. I think COVID kind of was that testing time, when things changed, when we really had to tell the world that we can do our transactions, we can deal with our money, we can deal with our economy without really stepping out of our houses. Or even if we have to, we can do it at our doorstep as well. So the UPI was also some sort of a story which we took to the world. So Indian enterprise at this point of time, while we talk of AI, while we talk of the global capability centers, while we talk of really moving the digital transformation curve ahead, is now showing the world that we have those use cases, we are not just merely piloters, but we are living examples of stories, hidden stories sometimes, or openly, publicly showcased stories of great transformation. But most transformation stories, as our leaders have told us during the times they presented to us, come from the fact that it is people who have moved it along with the technologies. So a lot of the transformation stories have also come with a whole set of change management that percolated top down. And a lot of our digital leaders have fearlessly led that mandate. So really, what we see here today is a story of leadership, of technology and transformation. So it's really our honor to be, kind of here present. And I think each of you here, whether a winner or not, deserves to be lauded for the kind of efforts, for the kind of activities, for the kind of agenda that you're taking back to your organizations, for the kind of the kind of efforts that you had to put in to get a seat on the table. The journey of the IT decision maker has been very, very, very difficult and arduous, from being known as just an IT manager, a manager of the EDP, to someone who has a seat on the table today. So a lot of organizations here have clocked that path, and they've done it very, very diligently and very organically as well. So industries irrespective, I think India now is at very, as we move and progress and target being a $5 trillion economy, I think we are also on the cusp of the largest digital market that can be present, which is why if you see most technology companies, whether indigenous or whether they come from outside, find us to be the largest propagators as well as the largest consumers of technology, B2B or B2C. Yeah, of course, our population does help us, but we also have the strength of resilience to show to the world that we can be carriers and makers of large technology. Generative AI now has brought us to interesting times, right? It has kind of upset worldwide, as I was telling some panelists, it has upset the market caps of a lot of companies, but it has also brought in very interesting possibilities for India at this point of time. Can we be the indigenous shore of LLMs? Can we also show the world that we can be the change makers in technologies of the future? Well, as we progress ahead, time will really tell, and I think we can show the way. But we're also honored to have our distinguished guests who have been kind enough to take their time off, not just for being part of the grand jury, but we also have who have also made it here today. So extending a warm welcome again to Shri Rajiv Chandrasekhar ji, to Shri Mahavir Singhvi, Joint Secretary of the Ministry of External Affairs, Shri Arunesh Punita from the Apollo Hospital, Renuka Ramnath ma'am, who's also been here with us. We also have Rucha Nanavati, Rajesh Uppal, we have Rohit Bansal, co-founder of Snapdeal. Thank you all so much. You spent a lot of time actively supporting us through and through this exercise. So I think we also kind of extend our warm gratitude to Grant Thornton, who have been our knowledge partners and have been a big support to us. The story of the awards, as I've been saying, kind of dates back to a few months ago when we kind of thought, we really need to take the first edition further and make it, take it from strength to strength, for, in a matter of speaking, as part of an adage. So as a part of the process, we thought, okay, we got 1,100 applications last year. How do we kind of qualitatively sift out, applications that do not make sense? So last year was good, but we wanted to make it better, a shade better this year. So we put in some qualitative barriers at the entry itself. So a 4-month or 5-month journey, spearheaded by my colleague Krishna Mukherjee, who is right here, heads all our community and relationships. So Krishna and her team, please put a big, big round of applause. Put together your hands for Krishna. She really worked tirelessly day and night, right from conceptualizing, co-conceptualizing with all our, partners as well. We worked together with our concept partner, which is Coas Age Consulting. We worked with Grant Thornton, and Krishna really brought every piece together. So really, many congratulations and well done, Krishna. And here we are, as a result of 5 months of all that, wrestling, pushing, pulling, and the result has been worth every bit of it. There's always an inside story to a big thing that has to happen. And so we look forward to a great evening. There are going to be panel discussions, there are going to be sessions, and of course, the much-awaited awards, which will be given out by our distinguished guests. So on that note, ETCIO is really, kind of gearing up for a very interesting year. We have large IPs that will come towards the coming 2 quarters. And the best of the community which sits here and outside this room as well, who are possibly not present today because of their schedules, will be a part of each of our community and editorial initiatives. So on that note, I will jump off the stage at this stage and let Isha take over and navigate the proceedings further. So once again, a warm welcome to all our distinguished guests, to our to-be winners, to our other guests. Thank you so much, and have a great evening. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, Ms. Malia. Let's hear a round of applause because she really helped us look through. It's always these anecdotes, these beautiful pointers from the journey where we've seen a lot of love and passion grow out of putting all of this together. And we wanted to bring to you a few behind the scenes, shall we say. So let's take a look at this audiovisual to know a lot more about what really went on. How is it that our jury met? A little bit about the award insights. Let's take a look.
Excellence is not just recognized, it is rigorously evaluated, meticulously assessed, and truly earned. The Economic Times CIO Awards for Enterprise IT Excellence stand for unparalleled credibility, fairness, and integrity, a recognition built on an exacting, multi-tier evaluation process. Let's take you through the process step by step. The first stage involves a meticulous review by our expert tabulator, Grant Thornton, where every entry undergoes a rigorous eligibility verification, ensuring certified assurance, followed by the thorough 2-tier judging process, where the assessment jury, comprising industry-leading experts, evaluates the top contenders based on innovation, scalability, and impact. Finally, the grand jury selection, where the best of the best are identified through a transparent, bias-free deliberation process, ensuring that only the most transformative initiatives receive recognition. At the helm of this distinguished selection process is an esteemed grand jury, featuring some of the most influential and visionary leaders in technology today.
It was an absolute honor to be on the grand jury of the ET CIO Awards. I think this property built by ET is very, very much needed in India today. The sort of entries that came in, it was really inspiring to see the sort of work that they're doing, the value that's being created. It's also very inspiring to see, how fast we as a country are moving in terms of technology, whether that's AI, ML, whether that's robotics, and all being used very cleverly to create value for stakeholders.
The successful companies are companies that will pivot from a digitized enterprise to now a smartly digitized AI-powered enterprise in the coming years. And so I see more and more challenging innovation from CIOs of enterprises in adopting and adapting and aligning their enterprises to being more AI-powered, to be much more smarter, to do more with less, to have a lot more data in their hands, and to deliver more and more efficiency to the corporates that they serve.
India's IT technology excellence is our global soft power. Our fellow IT champions in so many diverse background of enterprises are example of how India's technology power is expanded in all companies of this country. Economic Times IT Excellence Awards celebrates champions like you who are making this possible. India being in the forefront of technology and the celebration of those who make it possible makes this award a special one.
The Economic Times CIO Awards for impactful change in information technology is truly something that I believe researches and finds those leaders who are truly making impact.
The Economic Times Awards for Enterprise IT Excellence stand as a beacon, recognizing and honoring the remarkable achievements of these brilliant minds in their quest for digital transformation. The future belongs to the dreamers, the innovators, and those who dare to turn their visions into reality.
ET Enterprise Technology Awards is a very pertinent one to be celebrated. India prides in the advancement that is done in technology, whereby we are able to build an inclusive nation at an affordable cost. And highlighting some of the success stories of Indian enterprises will be greatly inspirational for the entire ecosystem of enterprises to move ahead with technology as a differentiator. I think the work done by Grant Thornton and ET in putting together a very compelling set of companies to be chosen is worthy of appreciation.
Our judging criteria ensure that only the most exceptional and impactful work receives recognition. The jury evaluated each entry based on contextual connect and alignment with business goals, emerging technologies leveraged to drive transformation, structural readiness for a scalable digital future, novelty, innovation, and differentiation created, business impact assessment demonstrating measurable results. The awards are divided into two main categories of Digital Enterprise of India, Excellence in Technology Implementation. These awards are more than just accolades. They stand as a tribute to the visionaries shaping the future of digital India. Congratulations to all the winners of the Economic Times CIO Awards for Enterprise IT Excellence 2025.
Let's hear a round of applause. Very soon you're going to meet these winners. Yes, indeed. But before that, once again, a big thank you to our grand jury. I know a lot of our members are here with us, and you'll all get to hear from them in just a while from now. You had a look there, got to know how we went through a very bias-free deliberation when it came to the award process. And once again, I'd like to take this moment and thank our knowledge partner, Grant Thornton, for being our partner and collaborator on this very, very interesting segment and making sure that, you know, when we look at the awards category, it is with an edge. So, to know more about them, let's take a look at this audio visual. Please put your hands together for Grant Thornton and a new avatar shaping vibrant India. To tell us more about the methodology that went behind the awards, touch upon the categories, may I request all of you to please put your hands together as I welcome Mr. Jaspreet Singh, partner and cyber advisory leader at Grant Thornton. Let's hear it up for him, please.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone. Thank you. You know, it's moments like these when you realize that what a fanboy moment you are having. Sitting in front of you, sir, the eminent jury, it's a very difficult task. I think my entire script has been leaked. Whatever I wanted to say, Shantri or the jury said everything, right? Let's start. How many of you know what this entire decade is called? There's a famous NASSCOM report which says that this is not India's decade. It is India's decade, right? And why are we saying it's India's decade is because everybody is betting on the fact that technology is at the right pivot point that will take our country to the next wave of growth, to become probably the top 3 economies in the world by 2030. And that's where the entire Viksit Bharat is also alluding to. Guess what? Who's in the driver's seat for driving this entire change? It's everybody in this room, right? When we started this award process, right, I thought we'll get about 300, 400 applications. We got about 750 applications in the first round itself across 2 categories, digital natives and best implementations, right? And when we looked at subcategories, believe me, if I were to pull out a slide on that, you'll be amazed by the kind of work that's happening in India. I think we need to give ourselves a huge, huge round of applause for leading that change in our respective organizations, for being the frontiers of that change. I think we can very, very comfortably say that the CIOs have now moved in from the IT room to the boardroom. They have a seat on the table, probably a very important seat at that, right? As we can see from the eminent jury members also sitting here, they're driving change in their organization. About a year ago, I was teaching my daughter, class 5th, how many states of matter are there? How many states of matter are there? 3, solid, liquid, gas. I wake up one day about a week ago, open the Economic Times, and there's a 4th state of matter that Microsoft is talking about, right? Which says that it will compress computing to such a level that something which took like 1,000,000 light years to do will take about less than 5 seconds. Again, who's going to drive that change in our lives from a digital perspective? Everybody sitting here. And that's the power of quantum computing. So I'm not going to talk about what's changing in the world. I think everybody knows this, everybody is well aware of this. What I thought was why CIO is important in an organization, right? Why are we talking about them curating a separate event from an awards perspective? Go to any meeting, and if you don't hear these words, then you're in a wrong meeting. Quantum, automation, AI, agentic AI, cloud, etc. Add to this the entire complexity on drones, 3D printing, whatever is happening in the industry, and you will see that it's become a complex problem. I did some research saying how would a CIO's hierarchy or a working structure look like about 10, 15 years ago, which was a very typical pyramid structure, to today. If you look at developers, change agents, external APIs connecting to an organization, it's really become a very, very hybrid structure. Pyramid structures will not sustain going into the future. A lot of organizations have actually started calling CIOs change agents within their organization, because everything that you do today is touching the heart of the organization, right? It is like you keep the heart out, will the body work? Answer is no. An industry which was looked at as an ancillary industry to the entire business functioning, imagine moving from there to becoming the heart of the organization. And what has it done? The role of the CIO has completely changed. Look at the headwinds that a CIO has to face, whether it is pressures from a cybersecurity perspective, technology change. I implemented technology 2 years. I think Bill Gates said that the technology change will happen after every 5-6 years, right? There's a very famous quote. 5-6 years, I think, is too long a time. I think it's shrunk down to 18 months. Who knows where will this reach in the next 4 to 5 years? At least I am not Nostradamus. I don't want to predict anything where this is moving. Customer expectation. Gone are the days when you would, wait for a web page to load. Forget web page. In an app, if you can't order anything within 30-40 seconds, you will junk that app and say, boss, I don't want to use that app anymore. Add to this the entire layer of security and privacy. We've just seen our DPDPA come to light with the rules being, open for public consultation. How do you bring all of this with the business change happening and make sure that the organization is agile enough, moving to the next direction? I thought I will probably try and take a punt on how do we look at the new mindset of a CIO. Ma'am rightly mentioned about IT managers. I think that era is gone. There are no longer IT managers. It has to start from being a strategic mindset. With a seat at the table, where is my business going? If your business is going completely digital, you can't make a business plan and then involve your CIO. He has to sit there, explain what is the art of possible, and probably be the change maker or the rain maker in that organization. Business customer focus. I at least would know 100 odd CIOs that have also become external roles, wherein they go on client calls, understand what is the customer expectation, and then adopt the entire technology along with it. Two, looking at talent magnet. I would be surprised if, when I ask this question, that how many of us are facing a talent crunch in the IT industry. I'd be surprised if nobody puts up their hand. That's the truth. How do you attract the best talent in your organization? From an IT perspective, who will drive this entire change? There is a plethora of jobs that are available out there only for prompt engineers. Somebody to write prompts on pre-configured agents, AI agents. To adaptability, the entire social style of a CIO, sitting in a corner room, making sure it's only an availability problem, to now suddenly the demands of being adaptable. I think that's how we will propel our country to the next level of growth and walk very confidently into the new century. I think that's where the CIOs probably, along with a couple of other key people, will be responsible for development. And we are at a pivoting point. The chance is here now. We ride this bandwagon today, and we can all very well, walk into probably a very sunshine movement for our country. Thank you so much.
Thank you so very much for joining us. May I request the team to please set the stage up for our next segment. We have a very interesting conversation on cultivating a diverse and inclusive future, bridging the STEM gap up next. So may I request the team to please set the stage up for this very, very interesting discussion. We believe that diversity is being inviting to the party, inclusion is being asked to dance, and making sure that we create a difference. It is time for us to deep dive into a discussion that is very, very vital for the future of technology. When we talk about diversity and inclusion in STEM, to make sure that we have a lot more information in this very, very interesting segment right here, and to take all of you forward for this very interesting discussion, I would like to share with you that we have some absolutely brilliant minds joining us and taking us through. In fact, 3 women leaders who we believe have all the qualities to take forward this discussion and to really take up the work. And when they say diversity and inclusivity, they truly mean it, and it is not merely a way for conversation. So, with great pleasure, may I request all of you to please put your hands together as I thank Srimati Renuka Ramnaji, founder, MD and CEO of Multiples Alternate Asset Management, not just a leader in finance and entrepreneurship, but a leader with a backer steel. May I request all of you to please put your hands together as I welcome her on stage. She's also our grand jury member, so ma'am, we really appreciate your presence here. Please join in. May I request all of you to please welcome Ms. Rucha Nanavati, Chief Digital Transformation Officer at Mahindra & Mahindra Auto. You would know when we talk about the shop floor in Mahindra & Mahindra, it is leaders like her that have created a brilliant presence of women. So I think A round of big applause for her as we welcome her. She's been instrumental in leveraging digital innovation for business growth. And to moderate this wonderful session, may I once again welcome Ms. Shantri Malia. A round of applause for the editor of ET CIO. A round of applause as she steps forward, and we look forward to this very, very interesting conversation right here.
So here we are back on stage. Warm welcome to Renuka Ramnath and Rucha Nanavati. Thank you so much. The reason for this, quick discussion is to kind of, since, we always in every audience, we're talking about the fact that there are very few women leaders. India has scaled digital excellence, but where are the women leaders? So it all comes from a very fundamental, standpoint that women, definitely the number of women getting into STEM careers, has gone up. There are various numbers by, done by various research organizations which support this. But for various reasons, which are cultural, societal, sometimes quasi-economical, and familial, women drop off from very promising and, potential careers midway. And as a result, even at a place where Rucha sits now, we have very few women who really have a seat at the table, not because of the fact that they're not capable, but because their careers never took off. So we really laud the fact that we have ladies here, who represented, they form some part of the representative sample of women in STEM who have broken those barriers, who have actually kind of blaze the trail in terms of success stories. So we'll very quickly pick their brains and understand some nuances of how the diversity and inclusion discussion can go further and how the STEM gap can be bridged. So over to Renuka. Welcome, Renuka, and very quickly to understand. So you were possibly the only woman student in the college that you studied in Mumbai. So at that point of time, you really did well and were toying with a career in the US, right? You wanted to go abroad to study further. But you changed tracks because of the fact that your family did not really approve of your studying abroad at that point of time, because those days, an unmarried daughter going abroad was not the norm, really. So you changed tracks and did very well for yourself. You did an MBA. But coming back, taking a step back, what typically are those cultural and societal barriers that, women have to really look at and go beyond and navigate to look at a serious career in STEM? Over to you.
So, my story is really old, so I don't think it's relevant at all. I joined VJTI
You can never be too sure.
78, which was a very, very different era. And in fact, I was very actively dissuaded by the head of my department from not accepting the admission, because it's a government college. If they could not deny the admission, but I could have withdrawn. So I was told that I will not get a job, I'll have no future. I would have just spent 4 years for absolutely nothing. And by nature, I was just born rebel. When someone tells me don't do it, I absolutely have to do it. So that doubled up my conviction, and I said there is no way I'm withdrawing, and went on. But I chose a very, very difficult line of engineering, which is textile engineering, which is all about machines, factory, huge labor, and very difficult environment for a woman to succeed, and which is why eventually I changed tracks after working in Crompton Greaves for a couple of years. But I think the starting point for women not even entering STEM is somewhere that built-in feeling that, one, the course itself will be very hard, and you may not come out in flying colors. And after that, what do I do with that degree? Would I be able to pursue a career of what my engineering degree will demand? So I think my message consistently to girls and women have been double down or quadruple down on your own conviction. I don't think we have anybody to blame. If your conviction is strong, the whole environment becomes supportive to make you successful.
Absolutely. I think it's also a sense of motivation within yourself. Sometimes it comes from the self. Rucha, if I have to kind of like pick your brains here. So Mahindra, the group, of course, as a conglomerate, has also actively supported the cause of STEM. So you have the STEM labs, it's kind of scaled, gone to the length and breadth of the country, and there's so much more that it intends to do. But as the famous adage goes, you know, once you have reached the top, you can send the elevator down to, you know, kind of lift the others, right? So as someone who has, you know, done some very fascinating digital transformation stories at the Mahindra Group, what exactly would you give out as a message here for our audiences and for women in STEM at large as to what they can really do? What are those concrete steps you think they can do to bridge and just go ahead?
Thank you. In my engineering, we were 12 girls in a batch of 400, so making progress.
Yeah,
but
the
still
proportion.
not nearly not enough. You know, agree. I'll tell you one personal anecdote here. At one point, somewhere in your career, suddenly somebody asks you for this sort of advice that what do you attribute your success to, and you suddenly feel like, wow, somebody's looking up to you now. It was sort of a revelation sort of thing for me that, oh, you know, there is something I have that somebody can look up to, you know, it's useful. The second thing I have struggled early on is that I never wanted to be called a woman leader. I'm as good as any other leader. I am a leader. But then I recognize that there are not so many of them, and so it is important to be recognized such that you can be an example. That's the elevator that you're talking about, right? And we pass on the message as best as we can, whether they are, you know, I look up to her and we all look up to these phenomenal examples. You know, as people are moving up in their career, whether it is a little bit of time that you take for mentoring them, or being that example, or helping them navigate the things, or, you know, when you are in a place, influencing the policies that are being made in your organization. So I think a lot of them, or even actually championing your story. Another personal anecdote a little bit. Somebody, a couple of times they've come and said, we would like to publish something about you. Can we include you in your book? And it's like, I don't think so, because with professional, your personal things will also come in, and you're a holistic person, and you're always hesitant. Not really, my story is not really all that, you know, great, worth including. I think we should champion our cause first, so that we can become examples. But all of these things, right, mentoring, spending time, giving back, to show an example that where all can you go is extremely important.
I agree. So this whole thing of, you know, championing your own cause, I think is important, you know, and so I don't think it kind of makes you as someone who's seeking, you know, the spotlight. I think it's important at this stage to showcase a success story.
But I tell you, I think even at this stage, we all struggle with it, I feel, a little bit.
And why would you say that?
I think maybe, I don't know, I'm brought up that way. We are sort of, maybe it is considered that I would be arrogant, I would be a little pompous. There are hundreds of people like me. Why would I be so special? But then, as I said, you know, at some point you realize that people are looking up to you. It is important to make sure that your struggles are known to people. How you have overcome is an example for somebody to follow, and you share that, and you help others move along.
Sure, I think it's a very gender thing here. What you stated is a classic playbook out of, you know, what the gender suffers from, you know, this whole inability to showcase oneself.
Correct, but I'm open about it, and I work on it, and I think I've worked on it.
Which is excellent, and which is why we see you where you are today, right? So Renuka, bringing you back into the discussion. So AI opens up a plethora of opportunities now, right? And it kind of opens up this whole thing of access to education and opportunities. So can you state some ways in which you would want to use AI to throw that open? I'll come back to you, Richa, as well, and pick your brains on that. Yeah, all yours.
I think these are quite well known, and it's actually left to every institution. In education itself, the challenge is a typical class treats every student at par, right? So I may be very good in chemistry, but very poor in applied mechanics. So I need to delve more in applied mechanics, but I will get the same 45-minute class. And therefore, I may just want to abandon engineering because I fear that I may fail in applied mechanics. Whereas I can be a great engineer where I kind of use my chemistry skills or mathematical skills or whatever. So I think AI is giving facility to learn at your pace, to learn at your convenience, to learn using the methodology that you like. Some people grasp better while reading, others through hearing, a third person through discussion. So just the very fact that it can be personalized to how you can learn best and allow you the space and time to work on your areas of weakness while sharing your areas of strength, I think will make it more inclusive for girls. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yes.
May I
Richa.
add something? So I'll come in from the other side of it. Don't personalize it. And I'll take it for recruiting. I think what a great thing to say. Completely remove my identity, my gender, my state, my language, and then look at my qualification. Right? You can use AI for that as well. To say, do not see my picture, do not look at any of that. So just look at me as the skill set, as the person, as the experience that I bring. And I think for that also it's very important. Of course, all of the other recruiting aspects, right? You can automate them, you analyze the resumes, all that. But it gives a great chance. If there were any, I'm hoping none of the organizations would have any systemic biases, but if there were any biases, even unknown biases that we may have, right? We all have blind spots. This will help you remove that.
That's an interesting take, actually, where you kind of just stand as a person, right? No gender, no identity, no designation, no status, but just a skill
Just my
set.
experience, my skills, my work, let that be the only thing.
Yeah, this is in direct contradiction to what a lot of companies now, product companies are looking at in terms of hyper-personalizing, even and kind of bringing in a larger quantum of self-paced learning as well, right? Correct. Yeah. Okay, great. That's a very interesting take. I'll stay with you here. So what are you specifically doing in terms of mentoring women in STEM?
So mentoring, I think I do very naturally. It comes to me, whether it is systemic mentoring that happens in our company through the organized way of doing it, or it is just, and most of the times it's not even about just or only women or men. I mean, whoever is interested in mentoring, I think we do that. Couple of other things, though, I think, as I said, policies in organizations are also very important. So organized mentoring, of course, but there are many, many places where, the diversity and special gender diversity takes a hit. One is childbirth. But naturally, you have to take a break and coming back may be harder. If you don't have support system. So in our company, we just recently launched a scheme called SOAR. It is seamlessly, amazing returnship. This is brilliant. Actually providing mentorship, buddy system, upskilling as well. If you've been out for a bit and coming back is pretty daunting, it can be. Even you can gradually come in. But these are real, full-time, important jobs that you can come back to. I think it's a very, very good policy. Talking about childbirth, maternity policy. I think Mahindra has one of the best trend-setting policies, 5-year support, year pre-birth support, after the birth, 3 years for flexibility and so on. So we want to make sure we do as much as possible. I think all other diversity as well, whether, specially abled employees or something, the best possible way to bring them in, we do that. So I think it's a whole ecosystem that comes together. For STEM, I believe mentoring can come after you've done your education. I think we start at education that she was talking about. Even in some of the developed countries, we are maybe actually a little better off. I remember one ad that is just stuck in my head. It's a Barbie ad, and it says, math is hard or math is bad, Barbie is good. I'm like, oh my God, you're ruining everybody like this. So I think that's where it starts. Nobody should tell our young girls that you please pay attention to cooking or something. It's very cliche, but I think it still happens, and we should really try and say, just explore what you want to do and see what you're really good at. And with the personalized, I think, great thing that she brought up, this personalized study. So it shouldn't even be so daunting that, this is a little harder and I don't want to do it. There's extra help available.
Sure, that's interesting. And it's also very true that these stereotypes still exist, where there is gender segregation in terms of what subjects can be hard for a woman and which is typically a male bastion, So yeah, but of course a lot has changed, thankfully, the discourse is changing. Renuka, I come back to you. So Rucha raised an interesting point about how all biases can be removed, and it's just about skill set and experience. So also the fact that when we look at STEM, we are still talking about women in STEM. Diversity and inclusion is a broader mandate that is there. So what else can it encompass, and how would you want to be a part of that change?
So by virtue of being in the private equity business, we enjoy a lot of privilege. Along with capital, we can put a lot of, I would say, conditions or expectations. I still don't like to use authority and documents to do anything, because I feel if you connect with your heart, you can get much better results. So what we have done is we have entered the conversation of DEI, the diversity, empowerment, and inclusion, into the boardroom of all of our portfolio companies. And it is with a plea, not with a force, or saying that, hey, by virtue of my investments, you ought to do all of this, but to encourage them, to show them the benefit of including the other gender and giving themselves an opportunity to include another 50% of the world, which has huge capabilities, which somehow you are just drawing a blind eye to. Second is creating communities. I truly, truly believe that if we have to bring the change of more inclusive workplace, whether in STEM or otherwise, there are two things that have to be done. One is creating community. Two is within every microcosm creating cohorts. I have been the privileged or the most unprivileged person of doing everything alone. So I was the only girl student in my engineering college. In private equity business, there are no women on the investing side.
Correct, pioneer.
Right? And then there is, no investing professionals in established organizations. There is no woman entrepreneur who went out and set up a private equity firm. So one had to fight too much. I think I've always been in the battlefield, but that is not necessary. Once you create community, so what we have done, we've got all our portfolio companies together, and their compliance team, their legal team, their technology teams together to say, what can we do to enhance the gender diversity in your organization? Now that you already have a board support and you have a champion board member who is watching this metric and asking all important questions. And this community building has sparked a level of energy and sharing of ideas and creating confidence, which has given us fantastic results. Thirdly, within organizations, I feel, this question used to be asked of ICICI, where I served 23 years, as to why does ICICI have so many women leaders, at least at the time I worked there, because we were a cohort. So we were all support to each other, and we could understand each other's vulnerabilities and necessities and be that support, lending hand, crying shoulder, whatever it may be, to help you through one bad day so that the next day is a different day and then you move on for several years. I think it's incumbent on every manager at whatever level. I'm not saying only if you're a CXO, but at whatever junior most level, to create a place of diversity where you have a large percentage of women, 25, 30% women, and not just one or two women, and create a community and create a work environment where it is really a place of equal opportunities and the best person will thrive. Then it is definitely possible. So It's opening up of minds of managers and equally opening up of minds of women and girls who have to tell themselves that I am in an equal opportunity place and I can do what I aspire to do.
Absolutely, and I'm glad the discourse is changing, on all these counts, and hopefully the, people coming in the future don't have to fight as many battles as you have had to. So on that note, great. And of course, we did see, right, these campaigns on the internet, on YouTube, which go viral. The Sabhyata campaign, which really grabbed a lot of eyeballs, because there was this girl who also was a victim of that stereotype. She didn't know she was actually being interviewed on the side. She just thought she was talking to someone randomly, but it was the CEO of the company who just in a matter of, words kind of hired her just in a matter of talking. And there were a lot of hidden biases which got exposed during the course of that conversation. So we hear the buzzer and we're finished in good time. Thank you so much. A lot of points that can come on further, because this is very topical, that's universal, and it's not, we can't wish it away in one go with one conversation, right? So thank you so much, Renuka. Thank you, Rucha, for joining us for this riveting discussion. Thank you.
To the winners. Miss Malia, may I request you and our wonderful guest to please bear with us a moment and allow us a moment to thank you. Miss Malia, may I request you to please present a big thank you to our grand jury member, Renuka Ramnathji. We'd like to present you with this plaque, ma'am, as a memory of your time. And thank you so very much for the valuable thoughts that you shared with us. Not just this, but a beautiful sapling for your personal and professional growth. May I request my team member to pass the same as well? May I request all of you to please put your hands together as we thank Ms. Ramnath for joining us. It has been a pleasure having Ms. Rucha Nanavati here with us, and we'd like to thank you. Thank you so very much. Let's capture the three beautiful women with the brilliant thoughts in a picture, please. And as we do that, I'd like to encourage all of you to please take pictures through the evening and do share them on your social media handles. Please do remember to tag us. We want to spread the word how we are celebrating CIOs for enterprise IT excellence. Thank you so very much for sharing your presence here with us. And as I take a moment and set our stage up for this very interesting next segment, we'll be talking about how with great power and more responsibility, we change our aspect to the country's digital future, where we are talking about balancing innovation, regulation, and most importantly, privacy. Leading this conversation, we are so very pleased to have amongst us a visionary. Please put your hands together as I welcome Shri Rajiv Chandrasekharji, former Minister of State for Electronics and IT, Government of India. It is such a privilege to have him here. Please welcome him with a round of applause in conversation with Mr. Pankaj Doval, National Editor at Times of India. We are all aware of his expertise, and please do put your hands together as he is one of the best names in technology journalism. So we're looking forward to the next 10 minutes of a lot of engagement, a lot of learning, all thanks to you.
Before I begin, let me apologize. I'll take more than 10 minutes. We've got a
We're happy
very
with that.
intelligent person in front of us, and we should make the most of it. Honestly, I'm very happy, privileged to have Rajiv with us again. He's somebody who the industry looks up to. He's somebody who's been very pragmatic and very erudite minister when he was in charge of IT electronics. The industry misses him, the policymakers miss him. And I think the kind of work that he did in Modi 2.0 is really commendable. So welcome, Rajiv, and thank you very much for coming to this session.
Thank you, Pankaj.
Yeah. So, I think while, yes, there's a need for having more women in STEM, very rightly said, let's talk about AI. It's all pervasive. Everybody seems to be talking about AI, the good, the bad, and everything. Is AI, as it is now, is it an opportunity for us? Is it a threat for us? How do we prepare for, making the most of this new buzzword that we are hearing all around the world, including, in our corporate offices?
Yeah, so Pankaj, I think if you move beyond thinking of it as a buzzword, it'll become very obvious to you very clearly and very fast that it is both an opportunity and it is a threat.
Yeah.
And I don't mean threat as in, but a challenge.
Yeah.
And the opportunity is front and center. I think we have seen since December 22 the velocity at which AI has grown and progressed, and the multi-billion dollar investments that have been made, and the milestones and the benchmarks that have been achieved in AI. So that is not, I think anybody in this room will certainly accept that.
Absolutely.
But there are other threads of the AI conversations that are just beginning to pick up, and those are certainly not at the same velocity and the speed as the AI innovation pieces, which is to do with governance, which is to do with open source versus closed source, and inclusion versus exclusion. Will there be haves and have-nots? And so the France AI Action Summit, where I was, and the preceding AI Safety Summit at Bletchley Park, these conversations are only beginning to take off.
Yes.
So I can safely report to you, having been in government and now seeing this from a little bit from the outside, that it is an extremely significant opportunity, as well as for those who sit around talking about it, going to be a big challenge and threat.
Yeah, absolutely. But you know, when it comes to India, we've seen most of the innovations in AI, at least the cutting edge work, initially came from the US, from OpenAI, from Meta, Google, and then suddenly, you know, China came out of nowhere, and you know, they showed to the world that this can be done even more efficiently at lower costs. India, while being there, you know, we call ourselves tech giants, but you know, still in this cutting edge work in AI, we've still not produced much. So is that a cause for worry?
No, so there are, like I said, when I talked about these 2 or 3 parallel threads, there is this thread of AI adoption, which is enterprises, individuals, consumers, using American models or any other model or platforms to AI power their enterprise or their function or their business. And that, in my opinion, in India is doing extremely well. The AI adoption in India has been extremely rapid, extremely fast, and we can see evidence of that all across, including in our innovation ecosystem. But where we are certainly lagging, and it's not something unique to India, it's true for the rest of the world, is that in the deep AI capabilities, in these foundational models, do we build our foundational model? Do we go into using others' open source models and create our own expert models? Those are areas where we are certainly lagging. But I was asked this question yesterday, and I say this again today without being asked, that these are early days. Nobody needs to be in a doom and gloom situation. It is, you know, till DeepSeek happened, everybody thought Sam Altman had eaten the lunch and the breakfast and the dinner of AI. I've been in tech for long enough to know that anybody who sits around and says, I am the boss, will discover very shortly that there is this young 25-year-old from China or India or wherever that will disrupt that little comfort zone. So it is early days. I am very confident with what the Prime Minister's focus is, that we will create our own deep AI capabilities in the coming months and years.
No, absolutely. And it's not eating the breakfast, but he also ate his own words, because just 2 years back, he said that, you know, it's a hopeless pursuit of India developing foundational models. And he was here just a month back where he said that, you know, India is the future of AI.
Yeah, so I think what has happened is, to all of these people who are living in a little bit of a cocoon or a delusion that they are what they are, and in a sense they have drawn the contours of what AI will look like, are faced with what we in the industry now call the DeepSeek moment. The DeepSeek moment has woken everybody up to the fact that just like any time in technology history in the past, there will always be somebody who will come and upend the normal with the new disruption. So Sam Altman thought he was the king of the jungle. DeepSeek have said, no, 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 we want to be king as well. And that will play itself out. And I'm hopeful that in the next 10, 12, 14 months, there will be many young Indian companies or Indian companies, young or old, that will also be in this game and saying, look, we are players in this as well.
Yeah, so in fact, India, as you know, has announced its own AI mission, and we are spending 10,000 crores, and we are getting those GPUs to India. You know, we've this plan to get 18,000 chips. We've got 10,000 now. Is that sufficient? Do you think we need more, or this kind of a community kind of sharing of GPUs? Does that work in a real sense?
That policy was authored when I was the minister, and it was sanctioned by the cabinet just before elections in 2024. The idea is never been, and the Prime Minister's idea is never that the government will build AI. The role of government here is to enable and catalyze an ecosystem that is going to focus on deep AI, AI applications, AI use cases, and so on and so forth. So the 10,000 crores is the initial capital to build the AI compute infrastructure, to organize Indian data sets, to fund talents, fund startups. And I can assure you today, I am not in government right now, but I certainly know how Prime Minister puts a priority on this, that it will not be for lack of funding that India will not succeed or succeed. This is $1.5 billion that have been put by the Prime Minister. And if there's more capital required to fund, to grant startups and building of models, small language models, expert models, there will be capital from the Prime Minister. I have absolutely no doubt. Don't fixate on the 10,000 crore number.
No, in fact, we've seen that. Like in the semiconductor mission, we came out with $10 billion. We've exhausted that, and now the government wants to come out with an even bigger package. So yes, if the industry responds positively, I'm sure the government wants to spend more. But you know, if I come to DeepSeek itself. Obviously, it has shown the world that things can be done more efficiently without those NVIDIA chips, GPUs, famed chips. Do you think that India should also work around DeepSeek, and like you mentioned about those wrapper solutions that people are developing? Should we adopt DeepSeek, or should we be wary of it since it's coming from China?
So this is one of the big issues that was discussed in Paris, which is the Americans would like the world to believe that open source AI is not a good thing. And there is a school of thought that says, no, bad people should not have access to AI models, and bad things can be done by bad people with bad AI. But you know, that is, in my opinion, another way of saying we want to control AI. So my own personal view is, and I said this very strongly in Paris, that open source is in a lot of ways what has driven innovation in tech for the last 2.5, 3 decades. And in AI too, there will be open source. And one of the ways that India can create expert models very quickly, very rapidly, is to use these open source models, whether they're DeepSeek, whether they're Llama, or any other open source model that comes our way, and train those, and train them using inference, using our DPI and our data to create expert models for healthcare, for agriculture, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
So I personally believe in our Indian strategy, using somebody else's open source model, even as we build our own, is clearly on the table as our strategy.
In fact, you've also spoken about sovereign AI. You know, every country, at least countries like India, should work towards that and use DPIs. You know, the data coming out from DPIs.
Yeah, I mean, you know, there is a gentleman from the External Affairs Ministry here.
Yes.
Look, I think anybody in this room can fairly safely assume that in the geopolitics in the coming years, AI is going to be a matter of advantage or disadvantage. For those who have it, it's an advantage. Those who don't have it, it's going to be a disadvantage.
Yeah.
India is a country that is going to build $1 trillion digital economy in the next few years. 20% of our GDP is going to be digital and innovation-led. And certainly, we cannot be depending on somebody else's AI to power our own innovation and digital economy. So if you just add the dots and connect the dots, you will come to the conclusion that we have to build our own sovereign AI capability, even as we cold start and bootstrap our AI with other open source models.
And in fact, DPIs are a rich source from where we could take the learning.
Absolutely. I think it is one of the biggest and most wonderful troves, data repositories today we have to create expert models in use cases, like our Prime Minister has said, in healthcare, to better anticipate a farmer's livelihoods and his own economic planning in agriculture, sustainability, prediction of natural disasters. and so many different areas that we can do a lot more expert prediction with expert models.
And what about regulation? Because, it is often feared that too much of regulation is also going to stifle innovation. Do you think that, we need a regulatory environment, guardrails, as you call it, that is also very important, or do you think that we should let it grow first and,
Yeah. So Pankaj, that actually we should have a completely full day session on that subject, but I'll give you the brief version of that. Look, this is a conversation that needs to be had because any tech, as we've seen in social media, has the ability to cause harm.
Yeah.
Now, there's a tendency for us to think of these as binaries, that innovation somehow is a binary to guardrails and regulation. We don't have to think of it that way. In the DPDP Act, we have proved to the world and proved to the country that innovation and guardrails, consumer interests, can both be done together without having to think of this as a balance.
Yeah.
So I think even in AI, it is necessary for the world and a global protocol to emerge on what is bad AI and how do we prevent bad AI or bad actors from using bad AI for doing bad on the internet. And that have to be something that is a global understanding rather than something that only India comes up with.
But even the data sets that they are using, even the algorithms that are being used, obviously.
Yeah, look, I mean, for those who celebrate DeepSeek, please, there's a fundamental issue today. For example, when we talk about DeepSeek, DeepSeek comes from a country that has the ability to scrape the global internet without any attribution or any consequence or cost, while at the same time, an Indian model or a US model has very limited access to the Chinese internet. So there are these asymmetries that will have to be discussed and talked about in the coming months and years.
Absolutely. I want to ask one last question, but I'll give it to the audience. Just 2 questions, very brief, and a question should be a question, not a comment. Please, if anybody wants to ask a question, please feel free. I think it's the right time to ask, but I think maybe everybody is thinking about what we've spoken. But Rajiv, how soon or how far do you think we are from developing something like a DeepSeek from India?
No, I don't know. I am not a crystal ball, because I can only tell you that 3 days ago, I tweeted early in the morning. I'm very passionate about this, and I tweeted because I was getting a lot of emails. I said, if there's anybody out there who wants me to help them and mentor them on AI or deep tech or semiconductors and electronics, and I got some 1,000 emails in 24 hours saying we want to connect with you. So I think there is a lot of energy out there. There's a lot of passion out there. There are a lot of young minds out there. The government has come up with this policy. I am very, very bullish and confident that we will be an Indian entrepreneurs will be part of the set of those who shape the future of AI. I'm very deeply confident.
Absolutely. On this optimistic note, let me thank you once again. You want to connect with him, he tweets very early in the morning. And he takes all the ideas in the morning. But thank you so much, Rajiv, for coming here, giving us time. Thank you very much.
I'd like to request all of you to please continue with your presence for a little while longer, as I request Ms. Malia to join us on stage once again to thank Sir for his very kind presence and for being a part of this wonderful, wonderful grand jury. So may I request all of you to please put your hands together as we take a moment and thank Shri Rajiv Chandrasekhar ji. Thank you all so very much. Thank you so much, ma'am, for joining us, and thank you so very much, sir. I'd like to share with you that we are honored and privileged to have amongst us Shri Anurag Thakurji. Please put your hands together as we honor him and thank him for being a part of this wonderful evening, as we look forward to being a part of this wonderful, wonderful segment right here. And as we look forward to an absolutely fantastic leader who not only changed the way the world looks at Hamirpur, but also changed the thought. He has added and contributed so much to the various ministries that he's been a part of, also the chairman of Parliamentary Standing Committee on Coal, Mines and Steel, and former Cabinet Minister of Government of India. Thank you so very much for your presence. May I please request you to join us on stage for the unveiling ceremony of the much-awaited launch. May I request all of you to please put your hands together for him. And since we have all of you joining in, we just heard Shri Rajiv Chandrasekhar ji. Sir, may I request you to please join us on stage yet again for this wonderful launch and the unveil. So please do put your hands together. I would also like to request all of you to put your hands together as I welcome Shri Mahavir Singhvi ji, Joint Secretary, New Emerging and Strategic Technology Division, Ministry of External Affairs. Please welcome him. May I together as I request Shri Arunesh Pateja ji, CEO, Apollo Hospitals, to join us. Shri Rohit Bansal ji, co-founder, Snapdeal and Title Capital, to be a part of this segment. Let's hear it up for Ms. Malia once again to please join us. Let's put our hands together for Mr. Mukbir Hemmer, Ms. Sneha Jha, editors, ETCIO, to join in. Please put your hands together for the team from Grant Thornton, Mr. Vinay Vashish, Mr. Jaspreet Singh. We heard from Mr. Singh earlier. We've worked very, very hard on this report that talks about the Tech Tide 2030, bringing to you the latest technology trends through this report. I'm sure our audience would love to capture a moment. Once again, a round of applause for our very, very special guest. What a moment of pride amongst us. May I please request our chief guest, our guest of honors, to unveil the report. Let's have this photo opportunity moment with our special guest dignitaries on the dais. Please do put your hands together as we present to you the much-awaited Tech Tide 2030 with the presence of our dignitaries on the dais. Absolutely fabulous collaboration by Team ETCIO and Grant Thornton. Lots and lots of thoughts out there, some amazing tech trends, and we bring to you this brilliant report. May I take this moment and thank our dignitaries for joining us for this spectacular moment and making it a moment of pride for us. Thank you so very much to our dignitaries. Well, up next, we are all set to bring to you a very, very interesting panel discussion. We today believe that artificial intelligence is the new electricity. As I quote Mr. Andrew Negg, today we believe that artificial intelligence is transforming the workforce like never before and exploring its impact. We have our esteemed panelists who will be joining us for deep thoughts on this. And as we take this valuable perspective further, I would like to share with you that we have not just one, but two spectacular moderators for this particular segment. I'll be introducing them here on stage. Please put your hands together for our esteemed panelists joining in. Let's hear a round of applause as I welcome Mr. Rohit Bansal, co-founder, Titan Capital and Snapdeal. Please put your hands together as he joins us on stage. May I welcome Mr. Rajesh Uppal, Member Executive Committee at Maruti Suzuki India, driving the digital transformation in the auto sector. My wonderful audience, let's hear a round of applause as I welcome Shri Mahavir Singhvi, Joint Secretary at the Ministry of External Affairs, shaping India's tech policies, as you know. Please put your hands together as I welcome Mr. Akshay Garkal, Partner, Cyber and IT Risk Leader, Grant Thornton. To moderate this segment, may I have the pleasure of welcoming Mr. Pankaj Doval yet again on stage. Let's hear a round of applause as I also present to you Ms. Sneha Jha, taking forward these very interesting conversations. If possible, may I request you to take a seat as per the images on the backdrop so our audience can connect. Garkal, please join us on stage.
I'm already there, unless you want me again.
So thank you very much. Again, this is a very interesting session, AI as a new workforce, and it says redefining human roles for long-term success. So come to think of it, no salaries, no strikes, no absenteeism, more efficiency. You don't need to create new jobs. Is this the new way corporate India is going to function? Will we see more robots than humans coming inside the workforce? Or if that's the workforce now?
Employer's dream
If
and
you open,
employee's nightmare.
yeah, absolutely. So if we start with this kind of, can we have your opening comment? And Mr. Singhvi, can we start with you?
Yeah, thank you. I think Honorable former Minister has spoken a lot about artificial intelligence and how it's going to shape the future. I think I fully agree with what he said, and AI is something which is upending everything. I think it will have a lot of impact in the times to come. It is already having a lot of impact. In fact, everything is changing. And AI would be an enabler for leapfrogging development as we go forward for developing and having an economy of a developed India by 2047. And in near terms, I think a $10 trillion economy soon by 2030 or so. So I think AI would play a very important role in that. And I'm sure that as we go forward, we'll be able to have it very soon.
More efficiencies, Rohit, but overall in terms of hirings, in terms of employment, what do you feel?
So first of all, it's such a pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me. Look, I think many people have asked us a question because I happen to have a seat both as an operator running an operating business as well as we've been investing for about 15 years. And as a result, we get to see what's happening because we invest at really early stages.
Yes.
So as a result, we get to see what's the action happening in the world. A lot of people have asked us, are you funding AI companies, not funding AI companies? What is your point of view? Look, our point of view after having seen so many different businesses is that I think someone rightly made a comment that AI is like the new electricity. Think of a company today, someone coming to me today and pitching and saying we are starting an internet company. It almost is laughable because every company is an internet company. I think the same thing is happening with AI. We don't see companies as AI companies or non-AI companies. We believe over a period of time, every single company is going to be an AI company. But what AI is doing, which is unique, is in many, many industries, it is re-leveling the playing field. Because suddenly some piece of software which some companies would have taken years to develop can now be done within a matter of few months.
Yes.
And suddenly that re-levels the playing field, like a lot of the work that has happened in the past, it re-levels it, gives many new businesses and companies a fresh starting point. From there on, they can build like using this foundation as a starting point. So I think that way, many things are changing both in terms of how new companies are built, what sectors they are getting built in, as well as many companies using AI in their own businesses, and that just we see it day in day out. Just very, very diverse applications of AI, almost unimaginable. But that's what we've seen about businesses that.
Not just companies, in fact, individuals. We as individuals are also using so much of AI.
Productivity
We may not realize it.
It's a technology leveler in that sense.
Sure. I would like to just give a little different perspective here, right? From a India perspective or a Bharat perspective, we are moving towards Viksit Bharat. We've seen the way to do business is really changing because initially we started off using applications. Now, the applications are on handheld, and now they are all touchless as we speak. Moving forward, we've also seen certain more transformation in the form of quick commerce. Earlier, getting a grocery in your house within 10 minutes was always a dream, and now it's actually become a norm. Yeah. And thanks to the infrastructure, the digital landscape which has essentially been created. Now, of course, organizations have to be agile. And from an agility perspective, they need to bring in various processes, whether it is a go-to-market process, it is a supply chain process, or if you look at a process essentially from a employee management standpoint, right? All of those levers essentially have to have the right buttons touched. So, of course, AI is important. And, earlier as Rajiv ji also mentioned, in the beginning that it's important to kind of look at how AI is being used in the right sense. So getting the other levers like trust, security, ethics,
Absolutely.
all of those aspects are important. I'll leave it at that, but of course we'll speak more as time progresses.
And sir, from Maruti's perspective, it's a manufacturing company.
I think today we talk about AI as a something new or something out of the world to do that. My feeling is maybe we are reaching a stage where AI is part of your life than really anything else in your enterprise. So today we talk about say hybrid workplace. Now somebody work from office or somebody work from home. My thinking is going forward, hybrid will be how much you as a person you are doing work for the company, how much your co-pilot doing for you, and or maybe a AI assistant doing for you. So it'll become a hybrid working where you and your co-pilot working together is the way organization will work going forward. I think that's the way AI get adopted in the organization would be the way forward, I guess.
So like Akshay said, in terms of delighting customers, improving customer experience, and becoming a work mode, that's an acceptable norm in the workplace, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but the government in the economic survey also spoke about the need for the corporate sector to show sensitivity towards, when they deploy AI, it should not lead to job losses. You should be very wary about how fast you adopt the technologies because, at the end of the day, India requires a lot of jobs. And to the extent that the government, the survey even spoke about the state in turn has to resort to taxation of profits generated from the replacement of labor with technology to mobilize those resources. So it is almost talking like talking about a robo-tax. So, it's again a new tax if the government actually walks the talk in the long run. Do you think that we are also entering an era where, gradually as more and more automation takes place, if you go to any new factories, even of automobile companies, we are seeing so much of robots being used, so much of technology being used, that we are also now moving to an era that after a few years, we may even be preparing for a robo-tax. Mr. Raj, what do you feel about this?
I think this debate we always have when the new technology comes. We had when computer came in in the banks, so everybody said there will be no job for people over in the banks itself. So I think this is a debate which is all toward reskilling and getting new kind of skills to do that. I think number doesn't come down. Maybe the kind of skills required change, and then unless you learn and get into new skills, you can't be in the business. That's all. And that change has to happen in any organization, and you have to recognize that change and drive that change. I guess is the important part for anybody.
Right.
So we've also heard of the digital enterprise at Maruti Suzuki. So what role is AI playing there?
Okay, I think way back in 2019 we decided that there are enterprise IT to run the business, and we have to digital IT to ensure that you get value for the business and run this as a business organizations which has investment, returns, and everything defined as a business unit is the way we defined that. We started with around 5 people. Today, more than 1,000 people work only on digital projects for the company. I think it has grown into a full-fledged vertical and driving transformation in all areas around, whether it's the customer experience, whether it's the IoT and the shop floor automation, employee experience, and all the new way of doing business for the company. I think we are focusing on all of them and driving projects in each area of that, actually. And talk about AI and all, I think this is made into a different COEs to work on. So AI is a separate COE, Gen AI is COE, IoT is COE, data is COE, so that we focus on each aspect of new technologies and we implement that in the organization going forward.
Right, and thoroughly experiment with it, both pros and cons, right?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
And Mr. Singhvi, like Rajiv spoke about the need for a global framework also, because if we are building up such kind of cutting-edge technologies which have their positives but also their negatives. So do you think that the government, like right now, has been talking about it? So how we plays in terms of making regulations, in terms of talking to other countries in forming some framework around AI and regulations?
As far as regulation is concerned, I think AI is a technology which has no borders. So there are concerns which are transborder and transnational in character. So I think global framework is certainly an essential thing in that context. And the Prime Minister also spoke about this in the recent AI summit in Paris, that we need to have a global framework on this, particularly to establish governance and standards that uphold our shared values, addresses risk, and build trust. So in those contexts, I think we need to have a global framework, but at the same time, we also need to see that our own concerns are taken into consideration when we talk about regulating AI within the country. So our specific concerns and issues, particularly we have a multi-language nation. We are dealing with diverse set of peoples. So all those things need to be taken into consideration when we talk about framing of regulation. So I think these things are important. That there needs to be a balance between the global regulations and the framework, and also the local needs and the local laws in that context. So I think that's where we need to go forward in this context.
But what are the main areas that in our conversation, what are the areas where we focus on, especially highlighting our local concerns?
I think the one thing I told is that we are very diverse countries. We have a lot of languages. So we need to develop models which can take this into consideration. So I think we need to see that our, concerns regarding inclusivity, about linguistic, concerns, all these things are taken into consideration when we talk about global governance in the international context. I think these are some of the issues which we have been flagging, and we need to flag, we continue to flag this. I think there is a need to have an inclusive AI and an open AI, and that's what the Prime Minister also spoke about during the Paris conference.
And more focus on governance.
Absolutely,
also. The benefits should come
governance.
towards governance.
Yeah, of course.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah, please.
Yes, because if India has to be the use case capital for AI, then the diversity angle has to be factored in all the time.
Absolutely. I didn't get your question.
No, I'm just making a comment on what you said,
Oh,
that if
okay.
India has to
Yeah.
be the use case capital, then it's very
Absolutely,
important to
yes.
factor in the diversity angle on all the fronts that you mentioned.
Yeah, sure.
Absolutely. And Rohit, like when you make investment, because Titan Capital has been making investments into various companies. Now, as you said that, AI has to be something that has to be there in every company that you look at. Is that the future? Like whenever you look at any tech company, do you focus on companies that are building foundational models? Do you see that kind of work also happening in India? People working in deep, I would say deep research when it comes to AI?
So at least what we've seen over the years, and as investors, because we invest in very early stages, we also, while we invest in very diverse set of sectors, we also tend to invest in companies which have a lot more commerciality in the near term versus absolutely in the long term. By virtue of that, we end up seeing a lot more action on application of AI than on building of foundational models. And at least I know, while we've been investing for many, many years, I still feel investors are really poor predictors of where the trends are going. Entrepreneurs are much better at coming up with new ideas. That over a period of time, congregation of those ideas creates a trend. So at least the trend which we are seeing is very, very strongly in the direction of AI-led companies. And very, very diverse use cases. Like, I'll give a couple of examples of companies that we saw recently. One company which is extremely high-tech, which uses AI to underwrite cyber insurance policies. Now, they will actually, otherwise underwriting a cyber insurance policy is a, quasi-mathematical, quasi-judgment-driven process in India till date. Now, they would actually, start with conducting a security compliance test of a sort of organization in an automated fashion. And within seconds, use all the data and the past data of all the companies that they've seen to give a policy premium in 5 minutes. A process which used to take years otherwise. So that's a sort of fantastic application of AI. Another one which we've seen is, in an industry which is as archaic as it gets, is in evaluation of tenders. Every infra company has to file and evaluate hundreds of tenders at any point of time.
Yes.
Very few small percentage of them even make sense for them to bid on. But just reading the tender document, figuring out whether it makes sense for them to do or not is a whole process which has a large number of people employed. And just still takes a lot of time, very error prone, etc. This company helps automate all of that process.
I've read about that. But everybody comes with such exciting ideas, but at the end of the day, we don't know how robust are the outcomes. that for as an investor it becomes must be very
So, I mean,
challenging
look,
for you.
that is the beauty of entrepreneurship and investing, is that especially at the very early stage, you know many will unfortunately not work out. But the few that will work out will make all the difference. So as a result, I think we tend to focus a lot more on, creating possibilities, because if they don't try, then nothing will work.
Obviously.
If they do try, some will fail, of course. And it's not only the reason for failure may not only be that the business model doesn't work. They may not be good enough at executing, and someone else may execute better. So there are 10,000 reasons why things may not work out. But at least the trends that we are seeing are people are really, like all these bright young kids are using their minds in very diverse sets of applications. Like I never thought some young entrepreneur would come back and say that I will make the bidding process for tenders easier. Just it's as
it's a very complicated business, actually, applying for tenders.
Absolutely. So I mean that's what we're seeing, at least on the ground.
And Akshay, coming to you, with so much of AI all around us, we are also now very vulnerable to cyber attacks. What do you think? Are we also prepared? On the sides, are we also preparing to be safe in this kind of a digitally connected society, or have we become more vulnerable?
Sure. We've seen that a lot of reports suggest that the country is actually witnessing increase in cyber attacks, 37% attacks year on year.
Yes.
Now, if you look at any sort of an AI model, right, you've got a data set, and then you've got the usage of the data set. Of course, when you look at different data models, there are various sort of vulnerabilities or I would say threats that these models actually face today. So, for example, if you look at a simple denial of service, which can actually render the data model to be unusable. Or if you look at some sort of a injection or a poison attack where you can actually create a malicious data set and then try to lead it to give different results. You could have some sort of a prompt injection attack. Prompt injection is nothing but you send various different prompts and then try to lead it to enumerate whatever data sets are available and then try to recreate something which again could be used for malicious intents. So these are some of the examples, but of course, there are so many other examples as well which we've seen. From that perspective, going ahead and using advanced machine learning technology, defense in depth, or using some sort of two-factor authentication, making sure that you put the data set in a complete zero trust model. A zero trust model basically says that, do not trust anything at any point in time, and then keep verifying all the time, right? And then always assume that there is going to be a breach. So from that perspective, how proactive you're going to act is another perspective. Then looking at the traditional models of management and monitoring at all times, which includes security information event management systems, security orchestration systems and things like that, right? So there are various solutions, and then again, it's not something that, as we say, right, the attacker on the other side may not be a human. It could be a bot which is sitting and trying to run some malicious intents, right?
Yeah.
So how do you kind of control and monitor? So it's a journey. You have to be one step ahead. The vigil has to be there, and continuous monitoring is what we would.
If we look at another angle to this, how do you see AI assisting in, making the cybersecurity more robust? How do you think organizations can fight intelligence with intelligence?
So I think what first Pankaj's question was security and AI, and I think your question is AI and security, right? So if I look at the AI and security, of course, there are various use cases which are being created, but depending on what's the nature of the attack, what's the behavior of the attack, and also looking at whether there are any early indicators to kind of identify that this could lead to a potential attack. Many times, if you look at areas in isolation, they could seem to be very low intensity or medium intensity. But when you try to correlate everything, in a cyber language, we call it as the kill chain. And when you enumerate the kill chain, you actually realize that no, this is catastrophic. I can give you some examples where some ransomware issues essentially have been sitting in the environment and collecting a lot of information about organizations, and not arresting any of it for at least 6 months. Now all that information has gone out, and then the ransomware attack happens. Organizations say that we can rebuild our systems. You can, but all your sensitive information has gone out now, and which can lead to breach of contracts, brand reputation, even the market crashing, and so on and so forth, right? So
Absolutely.
all of that has to be seen. Yeah.
So how do you see AI playing a role in dealing with some of the challenges in bringing personalized services in the SUV and EV space?
Okay, I think in auto sector, managing customer experience is becoming major issue now with the kind of volume we are managing. And also kind of, customer looking forward, the kind of data we get. In fact, out of the around 26 touch point customer has to really interact with us before buying the car, we have getting data from almost 24 of them. And the whole idea is behind that, how can you get the data and be very prescriptive to any channel that customer come to you, and use AI to be very prescriptive to that customer that, okay, you should behave like this. May you nudge the sales guy to do that, or you do it on a self channel of the apps or the mind. I think there's a big opportunity of understanding the whole customer and be very prescriptive to personalize and sell him what he's looking forward to at the place looking forward, and also capture all the opportunity possible in the industry to really improve your sales. I think is a big use case which we have been driving internally.
So you're integrating a lot of AI in terms of how to monitor customer, I would say customer expectations from the brand. What are they coming up to you for? How's the service experience and all? Is that also being done simultaneously?
So there's something like single view of customer we build, and then lots of AI tools work on that to really create the use cases over there.
But in a large company like Maruti, which is almost like an army, which is fighting on a daily basis, integrating these kind of technologies, is it easy to do that while running the company,
I think as a company, we had a huge data discipline from beginning, connecting all the dealers in the country, getting all customer information from all sources into one platform of ours, which now I think on top of it, putting an AI tool is much easier than maybe somebody who has not done that groundwork earlier, I guess.
Right. Yeah, please.
In the beginning, I think Jaspreet, when he spoke, he mentioned about, how CIOs essentially can be a part of the business. And sir, with your permission, we've seen in a lot of auto companies like Maruti and others as well, who are essentially taking, through the CIO channel, are actually taking, some of the government initiatives on, say, for example, MSME or the agriculture. So, for example, an organization, if they manufacture tractors, for example, and if you look at the rural India, where you don't have a dealership network at the last mile, there CIOs are actually building aggregation platforms, and those aggregation platforms are nothing where but a farmer can even avail loans. A farmer can actually book a tractor, and then the message goes to the dealership network, and everything is all digital. So I just wanted to add that how auto companies like Maruti and others as well are trying to take those government initiatives ahead, and also trying to make sure that we really truly move towards a Viksit Bharat. So I just want to share that.
Right. And Mr. Singhvi, when it comes to most of the leading work has come from the West. I mean to say it came from the US, as we discussed with Rajiv as well, and then now China. Where do you find India in the global pecking order if it's related to AI? Are we coming up fast? In these global discussions that we have, how seriously is India taken?
Right, because our AI talent index is better than Germany and a lot of other European countries. So where do you see India placed there?
I think Honorable Minister, former Minister has already answered this question, but if you ask me, yes, we are not behind anyone in terms of AI applications as such. We are very much on the pace. I think a lot of work is being done. We are one of the largest AI talent pool country where people are working towards developing a lot of applications in terms of whether it's in healthcare or agriculture or any other field. But if you're just talking about the foundation model, as the minister also said, that perhaps we may not be matching with what the US has done or the China has done, But I think AI leadership now is not, and in fact, DeepSeek has shown that, is not about whether you have a lot of compute capability or so, or whether you have the resources. But what is important is that you need to have smart innovation, rather I would say that, and also we need to scale fast and democratize it in terms of accessibility to all. And I think these are the things which are going to determine who will lead AI in the future. And I think India is well on that path. We are going to have all these things, and as as the Honorable Former Minister also pointed out, the India AI mission is right on this track. There are 10,000 crores of rupees which has been earmarked for development of AI compute, AI infrastructure, AI data sets, and so on. So I think the government is doing its bits, and I think also there is a need for the private sector also to come up and supplement those efforts. The government has already come out with a plan to acquire more than 18,000 GPU capabilities in the near future. I think that's going to provide kind of infrastructure which is needed for AI research and innovation in the times to come in the near future.
But GPUs are good, but how do we do that reverse brain drain? Because a lot of cutting edge AI work is being done by Indians abroad. Is the government also planning to do something to get those guys come back to India and maybe start doing that work based in India? We are getting the GPUs, but when do we get that manpower back to our country? How do we get them here? Is there something that stops them from coming here? Do you have discussions around that as well with the Indian community or the Indian tech leaders?
I think I'm reminded of a scheme which we have launched a few years back. It's called Weber, I think, Fellowships. And in that we have, identified, there was an exercise which was carried out all over the world where those, the Indians who are in the key positions outside and in the research and development institutions, R&D institutions were mapped. And how to get them back, the government did thought about that. And this scheme was launched, and there is a fellowship which is being provided. Those who want to come here and work, they can work for some time, a few months over here, or kind of projects which they like. And I think these are an ongoing process. I'm sure that we'll have more incentives to come. And as we grow, I think a lot of people would also want to come back and work, for realizing the dream of Viksit Bharat.
No, in some ways, thankfully the right noises are coming from the US. They don't want the H1B guys, so we can keep them here. We can make them work on these technologies. Yes. Why would the perplexity be formed outside?
Yeah,
why not in India?
I fully agree with you on that.
Yeah. Right. Sir, how are you looking at upskilling people and your workforce to make sure that they are able to thrive alongside AI, because this is a very critical aspect of deployment of AI in the workplace?
Sure. Sneha, I think in an organization to adopt AI, you need two sides of it. For using AI, you need good users who understand the AI, and so that they can create the right kind of use cases to really use AI in the enterprise, and also the capability to deliver. I think identify both of them and having good partner ecosystem to deliver is very important for a company like us to really make sure that you have a large number of use cases being delivered at a very fast pace, and that I guess we are doing right now.
Any questions from the audience? Audience members can ask any questions to our esteemed panel if you have any.
We're moving closer to dinner time, but fantastic discussion, and I think there are lots of opportunities. There is some level of threat, and we also need to get many of those guys who are working abroad back to India. That's the domain of Mr. Singhvi. But thanks a lot for this discussion, and I think the future looks bright with AI. And as with any new technology, there are genuine fears, but maybe we gain more than we lose. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining us.
Thank you so much. And to thank you all, may I please request Ms. Jha to do the honors. And I'd like for all of you to please put your hands together as we take a moment and thank Shri Mahavir Singhvi ji for being a part of our grand jury. We'd like to present you with a plaque of honor, sir. A round of applause for him. My wonderful audience, thank you so very much for your very kind presence. May we also take a moment and thank Mr. Rohit Bansal for joining us and being a part of our grand jury. A round of applause as we present him with the plaque of honor. And for our wonderful thought leaders here on the panel, we have a beautiful sapling to wish you luck and personal and professional growth in your wonderful journey. So thank you so very much. Let's hear warm applauses in the house. Thank you so very much, sir. Once again, warm applauses as we thank Ms. Bansal. Mr. Singhvi, thank you so very much. And a big round of applause for Pankaj ji for being such an absolutely fantastic part of this segment. May I request all of you to come closer. Pankaj ji, as you know, is a part of the Times family, and it's such a pleasure that you could join us for this very, very interesting panel discussion. A round of applause for our spectacular speakers. Thank you so much for joining us. May I request the team to please set the stage up for the next segment? I would like to share with all of you that we have now come to the point that all of you have been waiting for. Yes, indeed, the felicitation ceremony for the much awaited Excellence in Technology Implementation, our first segment right here at the Economic Times CIO Awards for Entrepreneurship IT Excellence 2025. A spectacular edition right here amongst my wonderful audience. I know all of you have been waiting very, very patiently to take the trophy home. So thank you so very much for sending in those nominations. And let me once again take this opportunity and thank our knowledge partners, Grant Thornton, for making sure that we had such an excellent process. The award process was smooth thanks to y'all and your support. So as we take this moment forward, we will be starting with our first category. The first category is going to touch upon excellence in technology. And as you saw in our audio visuals earlier, that we have broken the segment of awards into two major categories and then various subheads. To join us for the first set of awards and presentation, may I please have all of you welcome Mr. Arunesh Paneta and Mr. Nakul Jain, our presenters for the first set of awards. Let's hear a round of applause as they step forward. Welcome, gentlemen, and thank you so very much for joining us. It's brilliant having amongst us leaders as we celebrate the Economic Times CIO Awards for Enterprise IT Excellence. Please put your hands together for our first category. And our first category is a very exciting one, that of Excellence in Technology Implementation, Customer Experience Transformation. Let's hear it up for the winner. Please put your hands together as we get set to congratulate Sanjeev Lajani from Veolia, India. A round of applause as I request him to join us on stage. Please show some love as each of our winners step forward. Many, many congratulations. I'd like to share with all our presenters and the winners, we have markings on the stage so that we have the best pictures taken. So please do join us right there. As we move on to our next subcategory in this broad category, please put your hands together as we introduce the spectacular category amongst all of you. Let's get to know more about excellence in technology implementation, automated IT management and cybersecurity. And the winner is... Please put your hands together for Ramdas PM from Reliance Group. Many, many congratulations. Our warm wishes Congratulations. A very proud moment right there. And this is what takes us to our next subhead. Let's bring to you this absolutely brilliant category right here. We are now talking about excellence in technology, implementation, future-proof digital infrastructure. Please put your hands together. We have a winner amongst us. Let's welcome Deepak Sardar from Indian Bank. A round of applause as I request Mr. Deepak Sardar to please join us on stage and accept our congratulations. Audience, I'd like to remind you, it is your appreciation that matters. It's your voice and this is your community. Thank you. Many, many congratulations. And as we pass on our warm wishes to you, let me remind you to please share these pictures on your social media platforms as we move on to our next subhead, which is that of excellence in technology. Yes, our subhead being excellence in technology implementation in digital sales and marketing. Please put your hands together. We have a winner amongst us. Let's hear it up as we congratulate Dheeraj Kumar Joshi from Axis Max Life Insurance. Many, many warm wishes to you and the team as you take this very proud trophy home. Congratulations. Thank you, presenters. Wonderful having you here amongst us. Thank you so much for joining us. As we get set for the next segment, may I request all of you to please put your hands together as I welcome Shri Rajiv Chandrasekharji and Ms. Neha Jha. May I request both of you to please join us on stage to present the next few awards. Sir, of course, knows who we'll have here since he was one of our grand jury members. So thank you so very much, sir, for your thoughts out there. And this is what takes us to our next subcategory right here on the screen. Please put your hands together as the Economic Times CIO Award for the category of excellence in technology implementation for digital factory goes to... Let's make some noise for our winner is Mr. Vinod Gopinathan from Ashok Leyland. Many, many congratulations. Our warm wishes to you. And as I thank you for joining us, let us also share with you the next exciting category up on the screen. Yes, indeed, as we truly acknowledge excellence in the segment, we bring to you our next subhead category, which is that of excellence in technology implementation, business continuity and risk management. And this trophy goes to... Let's hear it up for Mr. Sandeep Gupta from Vedanta Khan Oil and Gas. Many, many congratulations. Taking the beautiful trophy home along with our warm wishes. Audience members, let's hear it up for them yet again. Thank you for joining us. And this is what takes us to yet another exciting category ahead of us. Let's take a look and get to know which category this is. We bring to you excellence in technology implementation, supply chain optimization. And taking the Walk of Fame and the beautiful trophy home is... Let's hear it up for Ms. Ruma Kishore from Unilever. I would like to request all our winners to stay with us till the end of the evening because we'll be inviting all of you on stage for a group photograph which is going to be on all our portals, and of course we would love for all of you to be in it. So please, winners, special request, stay with us till the end of the evening. Congratulations team, and our warm wishes to you. Thank you for joining in. Let us now introduce to you the next part and the next segment where we appreciate and present excellence in technology implementation for emerging technology capability. And let's hear it up for our winner. Please put your hands together for Shailendra Pal Singh from Digital India Pachini Division. Many, many congratulations. The team from Digital India Pachini Division joining us on stage. Our warm wishes to you. Thank you for joining us. It's time for us to move ahead and introduce our next subhead in this particular category. Let's hear it up for excellence in technology implementation as far as employee experience and learning transformation is concerned. An exciting journey ahead for our winner. Let's put our hands together for Mr. Shokwira from Accenture. Please put your hands together for Team Accenture taking this one home. Audience, I thought you all promised to put your hands together. Thank you for being so kind. Many, many congratulations to the winning team for this particular subhead. Creating a picture-perfect moment right here. A reminder to you to stay with us till the end of the evening for a group photograph. Thank you so much. May we now introduce to you our next subhead in this particular category where we appreciate and present to you excellence in technology implementation for innovative digital business model. Please put your hands together. We have yet another winner amongst us. Let's hear it up for Adarsh Rohera from Hero Motorcorp Limited. A round of applause for him and the team. Many, many congratulations. Our warm wishes to you. And may we introduce to you yet another exciting subcategory right here. Please put your hands together for excellence in technology implementation. This time for a very special segment of finance and account transformation. Taking a lead on this one is our winner. Let's hear it up for Ankit Goyal from More Retail Private Limited. Many, many congratulations to you and the team, Mr. Goyal. Congratulations. Thank you so much, presenters. You've been wonderful. Appreciate your presence here. And as we step into our next set to present the same, may I request all of you to please welcome Mr. Rohit Bansal, yet another of our grand jury members, to join us on stage. And may I also welcome Mr. Mukhbir Ahmed right again. Mr. Ahmed, to please join us on stage for this next segment. Please welcome our presenters with a round of applause. Mr. Emmer is coming from way back, so I think all the more reason for us to welcome him. Thank you so much for being here. Let's begin with our next subcategory right here up on the screen for all of you to witness is the excellence in technology implementation in end-to-end service delivery platforms. An exciting one, and the winner is as excited, I'm sure. Please put your hands together for Ashish Kumar Singh from Adani Airport Holdings Limited. A round of applause. I'd like to remind our wonderful winners, we will be inviting you on stage for a group photograph after all the awards. So please don't go anywhere. Celebrate with us. Be with us all through the evening. Thank you for joining in. And this is what takes us to yet another exciting subcategory right here. When we talk about this category, it's all about excellence in technology implementation for automated IT management and cybersecurity. Please put your hands together. Taking home this trophy is Mr. Ravi Prakash VB from Geo Platforms Limited. A round of applause for him and the team, please. Presenting the beautiful trophy of congratulations to you, sir. Here is a reminder to all of you taking pictures and videos. Please head to your social media accounts, share with the world where we are winning and truly taking home these trophies, and do remember to tag us. Thank you so very much for your presence. Let's bring up on the screen our next subcategory. We talk about this and we want to make sure that all of us are all set for this category, which is that of the Digital Enterprise of India in the BFSI segment. Let's take a look at who's taking this one home. Please put your hands together. We have a winner amongst us. Let's welcome SBI Card. A round of applause for the winning team out there. May I please request Mr. Pradeep Khurana to join us on stage and accept our congratulations. Many, many warm wishes. Thank you so much, presenters. It's been amazing having you here. And as we move on to our next subcategory, may I request all of you to please welcome Shri Mahavir Singhvi ji on stage yet again. A round of applause as he steps forward. May I also request you to put your hands together for Shri Rajesh Uppal ji. Please welcome our wonderful leaders on stage. Audience members, we have two absolute visionaries here amongst us, and it is such a delight to have the two of you here as we look forward to our next subcategory at the Economic Times CIO Awards for Enterprise IT Excellence. We are talking about the next subcategory right here for all of you. Let us get set to celebrate all about Digital Enterprise of India in the energy segment. Please put your hands together as taking home the trophy is Tata Power. Please put your hands together as the team from Tata Power join us on stage. We have Mr. Guru Prasad Rao and his team joining us right here. Many, many congratulations. You know, whenever a team wins, all the more reason for us to celebrate with a round of applause. Let's hear it up for them. Congratulations and thank you so very much for being here. Time for us to share yet another exciting subcategory ahead of us, where we are talking about showcasing excellence in IT, and as we bring up this category of Digital Enterprise of India in the FMCG segment. Who's taking this trophy home? Let's take a look. Please put your hands together for Nestle. A round of applause as we have the team from Nestle joining us on stage. May I welcome Krishna Kuha Roy to please join us on stage. Ma'am, it's a delight to have you amongst us. I'd like to congratulate you and the team. Presenting her with the trophy. And thank you so very much for joining us. Here is a reminder to my wonderful winners. Please stay with us till the end of the evening. We have a lot to celebrate together. Thank you so very much. May I now introduce our next subhead in this very category when we are talking about digital enterprises after welcoming energy, FMCG. Who do we head to next? Let's hear it up for Digital Enterprise of India in the IT segment. And the winner is Wipro Limited. Please put your hands together for Wipro as we congratulate the team and welcome Mr. Anup Purohit from the team to join us on stage, please. Many, many warm wishes. Thank you, presenters. Lovely having you here on stage with us. Well, up next, may I request all of you to please put your hands together. It is an absolute privilege to have amongst us Shri Anurag Kumar Thakurji, 5th term Member of Parliament and Chairman of Parliamentary Standing Committee on Coal, Mines and Steel, former Cabinet Minister, Government of India. And a round of applause for my wonderful audience right here. He'll be presenting the next few winners with the award. May I also have the pleasure of welcoming Ms. Shanti Malya right here on stage to accompany sir and present the next few winners with the beautiful trophies right here. A round of applause as we welcome Shri Anurag Thakurji. Ms. Malya to please join us on stage and be a part of the felicitation ceremony. Welcome, sir, and thank you so very much for being here with us this evening. Let us introduce to you our segment at the Economic Times CIO Awards for Enterprise IT Excellence in the very spectacular category of Digital Enterprise of India in Manufacturing. Taking a lead in this one, please put your hands together as we welcome our winners. Excite Industries Limited, a round of applause as we congratulate the team and request Mr. Ravi Kumar to join us on stage. A round of applause as we pass on our warm wishes to the winning team. Well, our next subcategory is a very interesting one in this category of Digital Enterprise of India. The one taking a lead for this one is none other than that of government and PSUs. Please put your hands together as the winner for this particular segment is undoubtedly Delhi Metro Rail Corporation Limited. Please put your hands together as we congratulate the team. We have Mr. Vinay Kumar Gupta here amongst us along with Ms. Sumati Khanna. A round of applause for them. My wonderful audience, please share your applauses because this moment is all the more proud because of your support. Thank you. Let us now share with you yet another interesting subcategory under the Digital Enterprise of India, which is the sector we are complementing. It is the automotive sector. Digital Enterprise of India Automotive goes to undoubtedly Mahindra and Mahindra Limited. Let's welcome Ms. Rucha Nanavati to please join us on stage and accept the trophy on behalf of the entire team. Let's hear a round of applause for her, please. Thank you, audience members. It is now time for us to move ahead, and after automotive, we'd like to take a moment longer and move on to the next segment where we get to celebrate excellence in a very, very special segment. When we talk about this, it is the BFSI segment. Digital Enterprise of India, BFSI goes to. Please put your hands together for Bajaj Auto Finance Limited. A round of applause for taking this one home. I'd like to welcome Mr. Rajendra S. Bisht along with his team member to join us on stage. Many, many congratulations. Thank you so much for being here. As we move on to our next subhead, we are talking about celebrating excellence with all of you right here. And the next category that we'd like to appreciate is Digital Enterprise of India in Consumer Electronics. Please put your hands together. We have a winner amongst us. Let's hear it up as we congratulate Bajaj Electricals Limited. Please welcome Mr. Pradeep Khurana and his team to join us here on stage. Many, many congratulations to the team. May I request all of you to please put your hands together as we move on to our next subcategory, which is that of Digital Enterprise of India. And in this spectacular segment of New Age, please put your hands together, for we have a winner in this category. Let's hear it up for... Please welcome Imagine Marketing Limited board taking this one home. May I welcome Mr. Shashwat Singh to please join us on stage. Many congratulations. Well, it is now time for us to head to this very interesting segment right here at the Economic Times CIO Awards for Enterprise in IT Excellence. I'd like for all of you to please put your hands together for our next category, a very interesting category. We have Shri Anurag Thakurji presenting this with Ms. Malia. Please put your hands together for this absolutely spectacular category, which is ET People's Choice Award. A round of applause as we get to congratulate the winner of this absolutely brilliant award category at the Economic Times CIO Awards. Please put your hands together for the winner is... Let's get set to congratulate Binod Roy of Wonder Home Finance Limited. Many warm wishes. May I request our wonderful audience members to please put their hands together as we take a moment and congratulate our spectacular winner, taking home this very proud trophy at the Economic Times CIO Awards for Enterprise IT Excellence, being honored by Shri Anurag Thakurji and Ms. Malia. Congratulations. Thank you so very much for joining us. Thank you, Ms. Malia. You've been very kind. I'd like to request Shri Anurag Thakurji to please address the wonderful audience. A moment that we've all been waiting for right here. I know that we have been looking forward to hearing him, learning from him. He's known to be someone who has changed the way people look at life. I was in Hamirpur a year ago, and I saw how in person Sir has changed the way things work. So may I request all of you to please welcome him with a warm round of applause.
Distinguished industry leaders, esteemed participants, and all the most exceptional CIOs, CTOs, and the technology leaders who are here with their successful ideas and stories of transformative enterprise. I wish them all the success in life, and congratulations to all of you who are awarded and rewarded today. Let them set and break records in performance and achievements, because each success will contribute to making India an economic and knowledge superpower. A special thanks to Economic Times for organizing such events and providing platform to aspirants and entrepreneurs and empowering them to dream big in life. Today, what we need is foster transforming ideas. Ladies and gentlemen, today is very special moment, as most of the movers and makers of India's trade, commerce, and industry are present here. And I take this opportunity to exchange our ideas on how to maximize opportunities for the inclusive growth of our nation. I believe this program will have an important takeaways for Indian economy and policy formation. Ideas are like rabbits. One idea gives birth to another. An idea multiply like rabbits. Start with few and learn to nurture them, and soon you will have plenty. The current startup ecosystem in India perfectly illustrates how ideas can multiply and scale into success. Indian business communities are a prime example of transforming ideas into thriving business opportunities. Your stories of struggle and innovation are not just discussed in business administration classes, but have also become modern folklore, inspiring millions of enterprises. So today I wish and request, कुछ तुम कहो, कुछ हम कहें, कुछ नया सोचें, कुछ नया करें. I am saying it because of the reason since India is in the mission mode, and name of the mission is Viksit Bharat at 2047. Viksit Bharat is neither a term nor a slogan, nor political metaphor. It is a concrete plan to rebuild the nation. It is a vast landscape, a picture in the making, where everyone from corporate to common man contributes their ideas and add colors to the vision. Viksit Bharat is a shared legacy and a common dream that each of us aspires to achieve. The innovators here, your code, your algorithms, and your breakthrough are the brush strokes painting Viksit Bharat. The vision is clear, so is the mission. To make India a true global powerhouse, not just economically and knowledge point of view, but also socially and spiritually. Viksit Bharat is not just about material advancement of nation, it is about mental advancement also. Viksit Bharat also means decolonizing minds and triggering a series of reforms so that we as a nation become self-reliant. The coming 2 decades are the Amrit Kal, the most opportune moment for India. Amrit Kal means yahi samay hai, sahi samay hai. It is the time when you wish, you act, and you achieve. Any decision that we have taken or going to take today will impact next 100 or 500 years. In a nation's history, there comes a moment when its people think, rise, and act together to drive complete transformation and redefine the future. For India, this is the second time such a moment has arrived, and this is what precisely called Amrit Kal. The first time it was 1857 when the nation rose collectively against the British imperialism. The impact was seen in 1947. And throughout those 100 years, all from small to big, from a common man, farmers, from a writer to a businessman, all fought together for a common goal to secure independence for the nation. To me, Indian business community has always been a class apart. Whether it was Jamnalal Bajaj ji, Ghanshyam Das Birla ji, Dorabji Tata ji, they were less businessmen and more freedom fighters at heart. And so the story of India's freedom struggle is incomplete without acknowledging the contribution of the business community and the sacrifices the business houses made at that time as well. You may probably be wondering why I'm making or talking about the pre-independence era. I am just reminding the audiences that our means your crucial role helped India achieve and gain independence. In 1947, we gained independence. In 2024, we are winning technological sovereignty. And in 2047, we will fulfill the dream of India, a truly developed nation, a Viksit Bharat. आप 1947 के स्वतंत्र भारत के स्वप्न के प्रमुख किरदार भी रहे, आपकी इंडस्ट्री के लोग, और अब 2047 में जब हम भारत को विकसित भारत देखना चाहते हैं, तो संकल्प को सिद्धि तक ले जाने के लिए भी आप मुख्य किरदार निभाएंगे, ऐसी मेरी मानना है. Well, I accept the challenges are before us. There are deep states and certain ideologies spreading anti-business mindsets and desperate trying to stop our collective efforts and strides. When rest of the nation talks about concepts and creativity, they are indulged in conspiracies and negative criticism. But the challenges are not so big. People have rejected them as fringe elements and mere noises, because New India never entertained such kind of mindsets. Can this enlightened gathering tell me what is the most engaging story of India of this decade? मेरा देश बदल रहा है, आगे बढ़ रहा है. Over the past decade, we have transitioned from being the sleeping giant to become the fastest growing major economy in the world. Since 2014, India, under the able leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, has leapt into the league of from fragile 5 to the top 5 economies of the world. Story doesn't end here, because we are on the way to become the third largest economy by 2028. In the last decade was known for, last decade means 2004 to 2014, the UPA era was known, that decade was known for doom of economy, and this decade under Prime Minister Modi is known as boom of economy. We have successfully transitioned from lost decade to decade or decade of gain, and from corruption to construction, from disempowerment to empowerment, and policy paralysis to policy formation. As a nation, we have successfully launched initiatives and achieved financial inclusion, empowering the marginalized section of the society. Dear friends, to my mind, 5 has remained a great mental barrier in Indian politics, polity, and policy formation. We tend not to think beyond 5. 5 means Congress ka panja nahi. Let me explain how. We think and plan the nation's development in terms of 5 years. However, most of the time, these 5-year term plans lacked a coherent continuum. This is probably because the ruling party is unsure whether it will remain in power after 5 years. That means our vision, our mission, and our dreams have an expiry date. Can you imagine a nation where vision, mission, and dreams have such a co-terminus status, truly developing? But Modi ji has broken this mental barrier. I remember just those days when he took oath, and after taking the responsibility, he said that as a nation, we must think beyond 2029, 2024, 2029, then 2034. He was talking about the 5-year election span. And our roadmap is not limited to just the 5 years, but it is for the next 25 years and beyond that. We think and plan in the terms of 2047, and India should be a developed nation in every sense. If you go by Panch Pran, 5 pledge what Prime Minister Modi spoke on 15th August 2022, it contains the seeds of Viksit Bharat. Today, from economy to governance to policy, everything is properly aligned with or under the leadership of Prime Minister Modi. Today we have, which nobody imagined about 10 years back, India was nowhere on the startup map. Today we have registered 1.5 lakh startups in the country, and India has become the 3rd largest startup ecosystem in the world, and thanks to you guys. If Indian economy is the rocket, startups are its fuel. Together, these startups are giving employment to close to 1.8 million people. I was told more than 50,000 startups are from Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities. They are unsung entrepreneurial heroes, scripting India's great equalization and proving that innovation thrives not only in Bengaluru and Mumbai, but also in places like Dharamshala and Dibrugarh. In a decade time, number of unicorns have reached to 117. Now we are thinking in the terms of decacorns. Our youth are becoming from employees to employers, from job seekers to job givers. Dear friends, Indian youth are not chasing the nation's IT and the AI goals. They are constantly upskilling and reskilling and advancing themselves to become the global workforce of tomorrow. It is a well-established fact that if the West has made remarkable advancement in the field of IT and AI, it is largely due to the brilliant minds from the East. And the East means Bharat, India. We are reinventing and restructuring our capabilities in STEM because we want our youth to work for the nation. Let me give you an example of how determination combined with our clear vision can bring about the change. Digital India, when it was launched way back in July 2015, with an expressed motives to transform India into digitally empowered society and knowledge economy, many has raised the question mark on the Digital India and the UPI Bheem. They were making fun of it, but today, globally, India is the #1 as far as the digital payments are concerned. 46% of the digital payment made globally are made in India. From a common man, from a rickshaw wala to a tea seller, they are making the use of this unified payment interface. More than 500 million Indians have embraced digital payments through UPI Bheem, a system so revolutionary that the world now seeks to replicate it. I quote a report from the ET, Economic Times, published on January 27 this year, and I quote, UPI dominates digital payments, sees explosive growth over 5 years, I unquote. The unified payment interface has become the dominant force in India's digital payment landscape, accounting for 83% of the total payment volume by the end of 2024. This is the opening line of your report. Now, when India's UPI goes live in France, or when Aadhaar-inspired digital ID transforms Africa's governance, we are not just exporting technology, we are exporting trust. Is there anyone here present in this august house who still doesn't use UPI? Anyone? An answer is a big no. You still don't find Baba Adam के ज़माने के लोग, or better say Congress के ज़माने के लोग, who have not adopted to new technology. When we launched UPI, a former finance minister made a fun out of it, joke out of it. They were happy to talk about the China's growth story, but they were very reluctant to get the vaccine dose administered, which was Make in India, or use the UPI interface. Well, privately, the leader of opposition might be using the UPI interface, but publicly not acknowledging it. Those who criticized it yesterday are using it today. A majority of the population was excluded from the banking services, and the banking system was it in shambles, crumbling under the weight of bad loans, NPA. At that time, it was phone banking, you phone and you get the loan. But the common man didn't have even the bank account. If you look at the JAM Trinity, how it has helped. With the Jan Dhan account, more than 54.8 crore bank accounts were opened. Out of 12 banks, 11 were under the PCA framework. Today, 12 out of 12 are earning profit, with SBI earning profit to the tune of 65,000 crore rupees annually. That is the transformation in the last few years. And Jan Dhan, Aadhaar and Mobile Trinity has changed the lives of people. Among the countless initiatives and achievements of the Narendra Modi government stands out, not just for the nation but for the entire world. Let me quote two. First, the financial inclusion of socio-economically deprived society. Second, the ending an era of digital divide of India. I ask all of you, what is the primary requirement of an IT revolution? If your answer is IT parks and good infrastructure, I must politely disagree with you. A financially and digitally empowered society are a must, and India has all the things. So ladies and gentlemen, today we are in a position to tell the world, when chips are down, you can bet on India. Today we have moved in the era of silicon diplomacy. Come what may, India is determined to become semiconductor powerhouse of the world. Again, we have a 20+ year roadmap to play a big role in driving a global semiconductor industry. A program for development of semiconductor and display manufacturing ecosystem in India with an outlay of close to 76,000 crore rupees. Today, the construction of 4 semiconductor units is underway, which will bring investment worth rupees 1.5 lakh crore rupees. The cumulative capacity of this unit is going to be about 7 crore chips per day. Just dream when a day the Indian-made chips will be used across the world. Ladies and gentlemen, exciting news ahead. India AI mission is on full swing. We are rapidly building infrastructure. Entrepreneurs, achievers, and aspirants are coming with their proposals. In a short span, we have got more than 67 proposals to build India-specific AI foundational models. What changed in the last 10 years? And what are we going to change in the next 25 years? I'll tell you the ABCDEF of India's transformational journey. Gone are the days when A stood for apple, B for bat, and C for cat. Now A stands for artificial intelligence, B for business, C for commerce, D for development, E for empowerment, and F for future, and G stands for global leadership of India. Under the able leadership of Prime Minister Modi, India has emerged as the voice of Global South, bridging divides through the platforms like G20, International Solar Alliance, Global Biofuel Alliance, and so many. India has turned impossibility into inevitability. From the success of Chandrayaan mission, lunar triumph, to the green hydrogen mission, we have shown that no summit is too high. Today we could see a chaiwala son in Indore codes an AI tool, while a farmer's daughter in Nasik builds a drone to optimize crop fields. I urge you all to trust your abilities, have faith in your government, which stands ready with the necessary support to give wings to your dreams and maximize your potential. Nation celebrates your success and salutes your initiatives. Every success of your contributes to the vision of Viksit Bharat. So my dear friends, as you leave this room tonight, ask yourself, can we build a $1 trillion digital economy by 2030? Can India become the AI capital of the Global South, solving issues like hunger, healthcare, and climate? Can our startups pivot from unicorns to decacorns with valuation crossing $100 billion? My answer is yes. I don't know what is your answer. Let's pledge to build a India. Let's pledge to an India where technology does not just disrupt, it delivers. Where growth isn't measured in GDP alone, but in grassroots impact. Always remember the great line of late Shri Atal Bihari Vajpayee ji, हार नहीं मानूंगा, रार नहीं ठानूंगा, काल के कपाल पर लिखता हूँ, मिटाता हूँ, गीत नया गाता हूँ. Thank you very much for the patient listening and understanding. Thank you, Jai Hind.
Thank you so very much, sir, for those very encouraging words and the pledge. I think when you said yes, all of us echo that thought. So just for that, once again, for giving us that strength, that confidence, and that encouragement, a round of applause for him yet again. To honor you and present you with a token of our appreciation, may I please have the pleasure of welcoming Mr. Akansh Gupta, Mr. Manu Singhal, and Mr. Soumitra Shukla. A round of applause as our 3 wonderful leaders from ET join us right here on stage and present you with a plaque of honor and a sapling as we look forward to your growth journey and for you to touch hearts and lives as you always do. A round of applause once again. as we thank Sir for not just accepting our invitation, but for guiding us all through and through, and for those wonderful words. So we really do appreciate your presence here. I would also like to share with all the winners as we congratulate you. We look forward to having you on stage for a group photograph, so remember to carry your trophies up next. Thank you so very much, Sri Anurag Thakurji, for your very kind presence. It's been an humbling experience hearing you and learning from you. Thank you, leaders, for joining us. May I now welcome our wonderful winners to please be a part of a group photograph. And as we capture that group picture, let me remind all of you to carry your trophies up. For the rest of my guests, may I welcome you for networking dinner and cocktails as you enjoy having this conversation with us. Due to security reasons, may I request our guests to please respect. Due to security protocols, may I request our wonderful guests to please respect. I would like to request our wonderful guests to please join us on stage. All the winners to please join us on stage for a group photograph with their trophies, please. Sir is being kind enough to be a part of this group picture. I don't think we should lose this opportunity. Very, very kind and thoughtful of him. So thank you, sir. And once again, a big thank you to the entire team of ETCIO for being a part of this segment. A round of applause for the winners and the team. Please do join us for the celebrations ahead. Thank you so much.
Ultra